I've been singing since I can remember, really, since I was really young, and probably the first memories that I have are like singing in the back of my dad's car, where I sing along to my dad's records, because my dad used to do DJing part-time, so a lot of his records influenced my musical tastes and my musical styles and the way I sing, so I'd always be singing along to his records. And then my mum was a dance teacher, so I'd be dancing all the time as well, so performing arts has been a big thing in my as I was growing up. So, I've just been singing ever since I can remember. I think one of the first ones I heard was probably a Minnie Riperton record, and I used to listen to like Alita Adams, a lot of Michael Jackson as well, and Whitney Houston. So I used to listen to those really kind of big, really powerful songs. Coming from the East End of London, I live in Hackney, and I've lived there since I was like 6, so it's quite a down-to-earth place, and it's kept me really grounded, and it's just full of normal people like myself, and I went to school in that area and outside of that area, so growing up there has, I think, kept me really grounded. I still live in Hackney now, and mainly because my family live there, so it's nice when you come back to always be close to your family, so you can see them and spend more time with them. Well, since I've always been singing since I was so young, I'd always just thought naturally that's what I wanted to do when I was older, and I came from a really supportive family where they were just like, whatever is your passion, whatever you love to do, you should just go for it. So I kind of never thought of doing anything else except for being a singer, and when anyone would ask me, oh, what do you want to be when you're older, I would always be like, a singer, and they'd be like, oh, what do you really want to be? And I'd be like, I really want to be a singer. So that was always kind of, ever since I was really young. The Brit school was just great and gave me such a great foundation to kind of really build on my recording, songwriting, instruments as well. So it was just such a great foundation, and it was something you had to audition for to get into, so you really felt grateful that you did actually get a place there, and you really appreciated it. So it was really good groundwork for me. When you go to the Brits, you get to go to the Brit Awards, so I got to watch from the audience, and I remember just being there and just being amazed at the size of the show and the award ceremony. It was amazing. So to actually be nominated now it's beyond any of my wildest dreams. I'd watched a few of the X Factor shows, and I'd always thought that it is such a great way for people to for you to showcase and for people to see what you can do. And I'd always been doing music and been in the studio and songwriting whenever I could, and taking music lessons. I started doing opera first of all when I was 9, and then went into more kind of contemporary music. And it is hard to get into the music industry. So I did think it was a good way, that you could kind of showcase yourself. My first audition for the X Factor was so nerve-wracking, and I think people don't realise that before you actually see the judges, you go through 2 previous auditions. So I was thinking, like, I don't know what the chances are that I'm even going to get to see the judges, let alone get through that round. So as I progressed further and further, it was a lot about my family's support and them just being like, you can do it, and backing me 100%. Even when I kind of was like, oh, I don't think I'm, going to get through, they were always backing me. I'd done live performances literally since I was about 6. I'd do shows because I went to performing arts school, and we'd do like shows every term in school. And then I went to the Brit School when I was 14, which is actually sponsored by the British recording industry. And I went there, and not only do you do like theatre and performance, you also work on production and recording techniques. So I'd done a lot of live shows, and even around my area, like the Hackney Empire. I've also done the Cobden Club. So I'd done a lot of different performances before I got to the X Factor. So I was quite comfortable to be on stage and sing in front of, people. The press and on the show has commented on the fact that I'm quite a shy person, and I think there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that and that can be shy in certain situations. It does take me a bit of time to come out of myself, but it's just because on the show I'm not a very loud and out person, but I do have a quiet self-confidence, and you know, I don't go against anything that I believe in, and I think that, you know, people can sometimes think, oh, maybe she's a pushover because she's quite quiet, but you know, I know how to stand up for myself, and it's not about being loud. I think it's about being self-confident, and I do have that. When I first met Simon Cowell, I was in my first X Factor audition, and it was Simon Cowell, Louis Walsh, Paula Abdul and Sharon Osbourne, so it was really scary to sing in front of all four of them, and I got some really positive feedback, and they put me through to the next round, and since then Simon's been such a great mentor to me throughout the show and beyond. He's had so much input into recording the album, and has been so wonderful in helping me take the time to make the album, so I'm really appreciative of all that he's done. To meet Clive Davis was just so wonderful, and it's such an honour that he has wanted to help in the album, and to have his involvement is incredible because he's been behind my idols like Whitney Houston and Alicia Keys, who are just amazing female artists. So, you know, to have him wanting to help me has been amazing. To have comparisons with such amazing female artists, for me, you know, just starting out is incredible, and, you know, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey have had, you know, such long-standing and successful careers, so obviously I've got so much groundwork to do, but to be compared to them is so flattering, and, you know, when I sing those kind of big ballads, I think naturally people compare you to those big singers, but it is incredible to be kind of mentioned alongside them, you know. For anyone that is going to go into an X Factor show, the advice that I'd give is to just be yourself. Don't be too nervous, because nerves can sometimes get the better of you, but use the nerves as something positive, and to, you know, just do what you love and enjoy it. Doing a show like the X Factor does change your life quite quickly. I'm lucky in the fact that I was prepared beforehand, because I'd been in the studio for years and been performing for years, so I'd had a lot of I guess ammunition to go into what I'm doing now, but it does change very quickly, and, you know, luckily as well, I've been given the time to develop myself as an artist, as a singer, to really find my own sound, and to take that time to make an album that I'd been waiting, you know, all my life to make, so it does change very quickly, but it's just about, you know, just staying focused and just being dedicated. I first saw my album, I got a big printout, and I got a printout of the cover and the inlay, and it was kind of, I think the most amazing thing was actually being able to hold the CD in my hand, and you know, it was just like, I can't even explain it. It was kind of indescribable that I'd finally been able to make an album, and this is something I'd been working up for such a long time, you know. It was just really great. With Bleeding Love, there are a lot of layers to the song. It's a very emotional lyric, and it can relate to a lot of different relationships, especially in the chorus. So, you know, as well as I've gone on to sing it, I've found new meanings for it, new ways to emote on it. I remember when I was recording my video for Bleeding Love, it was a real kind of pinch yourself moment, because there were so many people around, and there was a big set, and it was just amazing that I was actually getting the opportunity to do this, and it just makes you feel very grateful. It's about someone that has kind of been shut off from love, and then kind of fallen back in love with being in love again. So it's a positive song, as well as, you know, feeling hurt and lost. It's all about gaining love again. I guess when I recorded the first song for the album, which was Homeless, when I first heard that song and that lyric, it just really spoke to me and really grabbed me as a song, because, you know, it's got so many layers and so much meaning in it, and to sing it is amazing as well, because you can really it's really powerful, and you can really draw some emotion from it. Better in Time, I think, is a real positive lyric. Again, it's upbeat, it's something that, you know, everyone can sing along to, and I think that most people can relate to, and, you know, it's just like, it'll all get better in time, and it's, you know, it rings so true in everything. You know, if you've ever felt heartache or pain, you know, after a while,